Hello, podcast listeners. This is your host with the most. Oh, I hope you're not hungry when you listen to this one because it's a deep dive into pizza as well as the U.S. judicial system. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of JJ Meets World. And by the way, if you'd like to help support our podcast, visit jjmeetsworld.com where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some killer swag at our merch shop, or click the link to Apple Podcast and give us a 5-star review.
1, 2, 3, 4. J.J. Gordon, sort of like that Indiana Jones in that he's always sniffing out his next adventure. Yes, he is! He's always interviewing guests so he can have them on his show and they can talk about pop culture, arts, and leisure. J.J. has his flag unfurled and he likes his french fries curled and he's fun and then he twirled as he goes to meet the world. He will march into the rain even if his ankle sprained. Take a peek inside his brain. This podcast is called J.J. Meets World.
Tucker, I want to talk about pizza because it's a subject that both you and I have deep opinions about, and I feel like we did that cheesesteak episode, but we've never really done a pizza episode.
Do you think I'm right when I say that you and I are part of the pizza generation?
Oh, 110%. And do you know who brought that into us? The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
right?
And big capitalism decided, hey, this is a route to sell these little bastards some cheap food that's full of sodium. And we're like, yeah, it is. And our lives were all improved by it.
To be honest, a friend of ours once told me that pizza is a canvas food, which means that you can literally do anything with it. It's like a blank canvas.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, there's a Philly cheesesteak pizza, there's chicken bacon ranch, there's breakfast pizza, but then there's your traditional pizzas. There's even Italian style pizza who apparently, here's the thing. Sorry, Italy. You may have invented the pizza, but America perfected the pizza.
It's different. I would also say that, as a child of divorced parents, from time to time, you end up having a conversation with someone, who's young, who maybe their parents are going through divorce. And you got to talk about the good and the bad. And one of the good sides is that pizza goes up because both your parents are too exhausted from arguing with each other that they're not going to cook for you. So you're going to get a lot more pizza while they're going through their divorce and even after, especially at dad's house. It's just like when you're like, hey, you get 2 Christmases now.
Are you part of some kind of Big Brother, Big Sister program I don't know about where it's like Rough Patch?
Yeah, all children of divorces are in some ways like that, yes.
Yeah. I just imagine you going to some church basement and they team you up with some kid whose parents are splitting up and it's your job to be like, hey, listen, things get better.
Yeah, things do get better. That's true. Things do get better. If a divorce is happening, that means things were not great. So they usually get better. Usually. People
that can't see this, but Tucker and I are I'm in Florida right now, and Tucker's back in North Dakota, and I'm sitting in a hotel bed, and we're on a video chat as well as recording this, and I would describe my posture right now as very Jabba the Hutt-esque.
Well, I can tell
the Wookiee.
I've spent a lot of time in hotels, and if I didn't know you were in a hotel beforehand, the moment I saw your image, like, oh, he's in a hotel. And not just from the backboard that you're kind of leaning against, but like your posture in general is very much like, yeah, this is a road weary. This is someone who is not sleeping at home right now.
And to be honest, I'm actually, technically this isn't a hotel. It's somebody's timeshare that they rent out like an Airbnb style. Okay. And anyone who stays in the Orlando area, Villatel, I'm very impressed for what we get. We get a private pool, plus they have a big pool complex. There's tons of bedrooms. One of them apparently is Shrek themed, but one of the kids that I'm staying with is already in that, and I'm not going to go into some kid's room. Not like that. Everyone needs their own space. They also, when I use the term fart sucker, do you know what I'm talking about?
I've never, ever heard you use the term fart sucker, nor have I ever heard anyone use the term fart sucker. So, yeah, let's hear it, JJ. What the fuck does that mean?
That was what my family always called the fan in the bathroom, the fan that pulls the air out.
And I love that thing.
And so There's two of them, and it must be because of the humidity. There's one in like the main bathroom, and then there's just a separate room with a toilet in it. And both of them have the most aggressive. I mean, it sounds like a jet engine starting.
Nice.
So it's pretty good. Anyway, back to pizza. So the reason I bring this up is last night I just we finish at a park and we get home and I'm like, oh, we got to eat.
Why are you in Florida again? Can you give people a little context?
Oh, sure. So I was here for
the. We finish in a park. Like, what are you talking about?
Okay, I'll give you the blow by blow because you know what's funny is this time last year I was recording in Austin right before I went to Orlando for a week. So I got here a week ago. And I was at the Children's Miracle Network conference, Elevate, for the last week, learning how to be a better fundraiser, learning more about the organization, their strategic goals. Muhammad Ali's daughter was the MC for the awards night. And boy, she a big woman. Like, I would be afraid of her, like, if she stormed after me and said, I want to talk to your manager. Adam Devine is also their chief fundraiser now, and he emceed their talent show. He was pretty funny. I liked him. They did a thing where they had a bunch, because like the kids all get together and do a talent show for everybody. And so some kids dance and some kids, like do backflips and stuff like that. And these are kids who, well, no one gets booed. No one gets booed off the stage.
Get off the stage.
Put more effort into it. There was one, like 3 kids who wanted to be comedians. And so there are 4 kids. There's one girl who did stand up and her stand up was, like it was legitimately good. Like give this girl a Netflix special. And she did it about herself. Right. And she's like, yeah, I spend a lot of time in the hospitals. What? Brag. I've got insurance. It just like, damn. I know. Right. Like it was fun little things. But then these 3 boys wanted to do comedy too. I'm sorry, the sun is glaring, and so I don't want it to glare on you. And they all 3 wore fake mustaches and dressed up like they were in like Da Bears sketch, and did a joke off with Adam Devine, and it was pretty great. But so I'm down here. I was down here for that, and then we have family friends who have a couple of kids who are perfectly aged for theme parking. And so we're like, hey, meet us all. Jill flew down here and we're like, meet us in Orlando. And so they met us in Orlando and we did Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure on Friday. And yesterday we did Epic Universe. I was at Epic Universe for 13 and a half hours. And I was tired.
Yeah.
And so I'm going home and I decide, okay, listen, we got to have something to eat. And we had pizza the night before, but I'm like, we're going to have some more pizza. So I found out that there's a Giordano's in this town, and Giordano's is like it's a large chain, but they do really great Chicago pizza. It's a Chicago company.
So upside down is thick.
Sorry, I got to get a little Orlando out of my lungs.
Yeah.
So they have Chicago style pizza, the real thick double crust, extra cheese. It's really good. And I started thinking to myself, everyone, like, every region wants its own type of pizza, right? There's the Detroit style pizza. There's New York style pizza. Heck, there's even a place that says like it's Minnesota style. And it's like, listen, Minnesota doesn't have a style of pizza. And so it's interesting to me that certain regions do get a style of pizza and not everywhere does, but not everyone's perfected it. And so I guess my question to you is this, Tucker. When someone says, want to order a pizza, what are you hoping is going to be in front of you in 30 minutes or less?
At bare minimum, I want pepperoni and cheese.
Okay.
I mean, bare minimum, pepperoni and cheese. That's what I'm thinking. And I usually kind of think in terms more of like New York style, but doesn't have to be. Usually I would never assume Chicago style, like, upside down sauce on top, real thick like lasagna, but I wouldn't say no to it. I just wouldn't imagine that to be the case. So somewhere between that and then something maybe a bit fluffier crust, like a Pizza Hut pan crust. That'd be what I'd be assuming.
Okay. Do you like that Pizza Hut pan?
Yeah, it's great.
Do you like a crispy crust?
I do. I mean, I like all sizes of crust, but I would say if it's got that kind of buttery flavoring, little garlicky, and kind of the nice crisp that you get on the Pizza Hut pan pizza. I'd say pan pizza is probably my favorite crust.
Let's talk crusts because there's a huge variation in the type of crust you can get.
Right,
and we'll start with the lowest.
We grew up through a lot of crust experimentation too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Let's start at the crispiest and work our way up. So you start with like essentially what is a flatbread pizza from back in the day. Like it's real crispy. And I think the best thin crust out there is Domino's because it's almost like eating nachos. It's, the pizza, the cheese is heavy on top of it, and it's crunchy, right? Like it's like eating a chip. And I really like that in my thin crust.
Isn't it like St. Louis or something has that style where it's basically like it's on a cracker almost?
Yes.
Almost like it's a frozen pizza, but not.
And like, don't get me wrong, like I like lavash, aka the rich man's nacho, is something I also really enjoy. And so there's a world where I'm like, listen, just give me some cheese on a cracker and I'm going to be happy. But in this case, just give me a little bit of pizza toppings too.
Yep.
So
agreed.
Then you move up to the hand toss. And hand toss is what I would call the traditional pizza, right? Its crust is essentially like a dam to keep everything from oozing over the edge. It's probably a little bit chewy. When it comes to the crust itself, the pizza's thin. So like when you pick it up, the piece can I guess New York probably before hand toss, but it bends itself over, like a gentleman who's just been told that his wife's outside.
And he bends over. What does that mean?
Well, like his his tallywhacker.
Got it.
Right.
Yeah, well, and those will often get like air pockets, and they can be kind of uneven sometimes, depending on the skill of the person doing the hand tossing.
Right.
But that visual of the hand toss is like that's the thing
the iconic, right?
That's what I'm missing from every pizza place is that I want to walk into the pizzeria. I want to smell Parmesan cheese immediately, and I want to see someone hand tossing something. I want to see that. I never see that. That just doesn't happen. At least not in Fargo, North Dakota.
You know what else I want to see? I want to see a red stippled cup as well, like the old Pizza Hut cups.
Yep.
And so New York style is similar to that, right? Like it's floppy. You're supposed to fold it to eat it. New York style is the one thing I just don't get behind. I don't like New York style pizza.
That's probably my top. But a lot of that too comes from the opening sequence of Ninja Turtles 2, right? Because they're all eating New York style, and my cat is being an asshole. Hold on 1 second.
Go for it. I can see him back there.
Stop chewing on stuff. All right. So is it because you don't like that it's as floppy or as greasy? Is that what's going on? To me, it's more like I love that you can fold it and just eat it even without a plate, standing on a street corner if you need to, or walking down the street with your slice of za.
I mean, maybe that's the thing. Maybe I don't like the folding. Like in all honesty, I'd rather have two pieces than the one big piece. I don't know what it is. They also use the really large pepperonis on New York style.
Oh.
And
I do prefer the cupped pepperonis, the ones that curl up and then have like a little bowl.
Yes.
That is my preferred style of pepperoni for sure.
I go like this. The cuppers, the regular, I would call them like maybe like 50-cent piece size pepperonis. And then it's diced. And then it's the New York style, like large bologna slices of pepperoni.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Right? So after you hit the New York crust and the thin crust, you're up to the hand tossed, and then beyond that, you start getting into some interesting territory because now we've entered the this is French bread crust, right? And so the deep dishes, the things that really like have an edge to them, but it's like a crispy flat edge, and then beyond that, which I like Detroit style pizza. Do you ever have Detroit style pizza?
What is? I have to remember what it is. Isn't it just
Detroit
square?
style is usually made in like a pan, like a baking sheet pan, and it looks like school pizza.
Yeah,
it looks like what you got in elementary school.
Okay.
And it's usually like a slightly raised crust and cut into triangles. traditionally, now some places are like, oh, it's a Detroit style pizza, but they make it in a regular pizza pan, and I was like, you guys are liars, dirty liars. And then you get to the then you get stuffed crust, right? So we started stuffing the crusts with stuff.
And and I kind of feel like that was just a way for them to get rid of excess mozzarella, because they had like, because here's the thing. I remember seeing the ads like, oh, wow, they improved crust. Now kids will want to eat the crust. I always ate my crust, but it was clearly the least flavorful. But I never really had an issue with eating crust. But I know a lot of kids would be like, just like they don't want the crust on their sandwiches. I love the crust. Anyways, but I remember that like being kind of announced. I can't remember. Was it Pizza Hut who did it first, I think?
I believe so, yeah.
Because I remember, I think Little Caesars did it at one point. I can't remember who all did it. But then you get the stuffed crust, and it really just kind of tasted like they took a mozzarella stick and kind of microwaved it a little bit.
Yeah.
And you realize the mozzarella itself doesn't have nearly as much flavor when it's not paired directly with sauce.
Right, agreed. And then you get the granddaddy of them all. You get Chicago-style pizza, which has two crusts. Like you said, it's upside down. Sauce on the top, cheese in the middle, your toppings in there.
Like you're eating that with a fork. Like you're not
right,
you're not lifting
100%.
it up. And that's kind of like the big thing for me is I'll eat pizza with a fork. I'm not against it, but I still want to have the ability to at least finish it off with my hand.
Now, you can eat it like that if you eat it the next day. So, like, after you've put it in the fridge, like the cold pizza, you can eat Chicago-style pizza cold like that.
I am completely anti-cold pizza. 100%. 100% anti-cold pizza.
What?
I refuse. I will go hungry instead of eating cold pizza.
Tucker, this is mind-blowing to me.
No,
Tell me why.
Because I'm right. That's why. Because it doesn't taste good. It tastes like, oh, this needs to be heated up. What other hot meal are we like, yeah, I love eating that cold and unprepared?
Spaghetti? Chili?
No, none of those things. No, heat.
Let me see what else. Sandwiches?
You know what? Here's the thing. When you listen, it took our ancestors a millennia to harness the power of fire the way that we've got it now. When you eat your pizza cold, you are spitting in their faces, right? You are descended from some cave person who was just desperate to get the fire going so that they could cook the elk and feed their kids. And now you're like right in that caveman's face because you're standing in front of your fridge eating pizza from yesterday without cooking it.
Tucker, we the people of the United States of America have certain rights and liberties that have been extended to us. And my enjoyment of cold foods is exactly that.
You know, JJ, I'm going to pull up the old U.S. Constitution right now. I'm going to pull up the old U.S. Constitution. I'm going to look for that line where it says JJ gets to eat cold pizza. I don't think that line's in there. Let's do a little U.S. Constitution pizza clause. Let's see if the pizza clause is here, JJ. And
what does Google say?
There is no clause in the U.S. Constitution that mentions pizza or grants Congress the power to regulate pizza as a food item. Do you want to know why? Do you know why it didn't come up? Do you want to know why? Do you want to know why it didn't come up? Do you want to know why it didn't come up? Do you want to know why? Rights. You can take your rights. Do you want to know why? You can take your rights. You can put them right on top of a piece of shitty cold Detroit style pizza. You can cram it up your ass.
It's not called a clause. It's called an amendment. You communist son of a bitch. That's why it didn't come up.
I believe amendments have a process that you have to go through, though. You don't just.
They're not called a clause. This isn't a contract. It can't be nullified. This is America, Jack.
Okay, hold on. Google continues. What people often confuse with a quote pizza clause. School lunch guidelines. In 2011, a provision in the Agricultural Appropriations Bill allowed 2 tablespoons of tomato paste in pizza to count as a full serving of vegetables in school meals. It looks like there were judicial analogies in 2014. Judge Andre Davis of the Fourth Circuit Court used a pizza analogy involving Pizza Hut and Domino's in a concurring opinion to explain a legal point about the Affordable Care Act. I'm not seeing anything about JJ gets to eat cold
Hold on. Wait. Would you please find that summation where he compares Domino's and Pizza Hut to the Affordable Care Act? I would love to hear this. Because it just goes to show my point that pizza is such a huge part. We didn't even get into toppings. I believe that you can put anything on a pizza. Fruit. I once had a pizza that had goat cheese and peach on it that was so good. I dream about it still. Put that pineapple on there. I like Canadian bacon. I like, all those toppings. The one I just can't get behind, if I'm going to be honest, is like, if I'm going to have chicken on a pizza, I want it to be with barbecue sauce. And at that point, like, really, I'm eating a chicken sandwich. I'm not really eating much beyond that. Cheese.
Fourth Circuit Court Judge Andre Davis wrote that the Department of Health and Human Services was instructed to establish and operate such exchange within the state and take such actions as are necessary to implement such other requirements as far as this. He serves up the pizza ordering scenario presumably experienced by every college student at one time or another. Quote, if I asked for pizza from Pizza Hut for lunch, but clarify that I would be fine with a pizza from Domino's, and I then specify that I want ham and pepperoni on my pizza from Pizza Hut, my friend who returns from Domino's with a ham and pepperoni pizza has still complied with a literal construction of my lunch order. That is this case. Congress specified that exchanges should be established and run by the states, but the contingency provision permits federal officials to act in place of the state when it fails to establish an exchange. It's there in black and white, JJ. If you want to do something about this, you need to talk to Governor Armstrong. You need to take it up. It's a state-level issue. State-level issue.
What's interesting to me is, like, this judge clearly wrote this while he was hungry. His other summations, I'd be like, listen, the right of a woman to choose whether she wants to end a pregnancy is like a Snickers bar. Right? Be like, property ownership in the United States needs to be governed by three things: milk, cereal, and a spoon. And you can just tell what he was hungry for every time he wrote a summation.
Here's where I think his argument falls apart. Who on this planet wants Pizza Hut but would be okay with Domino's instead? Fucking nobody.
Oh, never.
Never. That's not happening. So
they are not interchangeable.
His claim is a little unrealistic, even though I'm glad he supports the Constitution.
Okay, do you want to know something else that I'm really thinking of? This is a U.S. judge, and he actively avoided saying the word Canadian bacon. Like, he was not going to put the term Canadian in there. He's like, no Canadian bacon. I'm going to call it ham, like the Canadians do, which in essence is really more Canadian than saying Canadian bacon.
That's such a great point. What human being goes, I want a Pizza Hut pizza with pepperoni and ham, but it's okay if it's from Domino's instead? That has not happened in the United States. No one has said that.
Right? Like, hey, listen, Tucker, let's go on vacation and let's go to Florida and have a wonderful time. But if we go to Cleveland instead, that would be cool too.
Yeah, that's not going to make sense. I'm trying to remember though if we've heard your full story of you got pizza again last night. And
I got delicious pizza from Giordano's and it was so good and I loved it. And like the dad of the kids I'm with watched me take the first slice out of the box and he used a term I'd never heard of before, which is like, look at that cheese pull. And so I think that these companies should lean into it because in all honesty, that's another thing the Turtles taught us is that when you take a piece of pizza, there should be like tendrils of cheese that just like bleh. Oh God, it's so good.
It's got to be a specific mozzarella choice to do that, though. I would assume it can't be any mozzarella.
Well, it's got to stay hot, and that's the thing too. Is like your cheeses. We've really experimented with cheeses because 4 cheese pizza, 3 cheese pizza, 2 cheese pizza, single cheese pizza. With goat cheeses, all these other things.
When I worked on the poker tour, we would almost always get pizza every place we would go at least once, right? Because we were used to like, okay, this is what it tastes like in Pittsburgh, and this is what it tastes like over here. And so one of our crew members was obsessed with this, and this was his thing specifically. Is every time we go to a new place, he'd try to figure out where the best pizza was, and we'd all go and he'd eat it. And in his research, he had told me that, you know, the mozzarella that like the big chains get is exclusive to big chains. It's not stuff that you can buy like on the shelf, and that it's got a very specific moisture content, and that the companies that make these only sell them in large batches. And so if you actually wanted to try and make a pizza that tasted like, if you wanted to try and recreate a well-made Pizza Hut pizza or something like that, you wouldn't actually be able to get access to the correct cheese because it's under lock and key, allegedly. Is that true?
I've heard the same thing. Part of the problem is that, like, when your consumer-based cheese that you buy in the grocery store, if you buy the shredded stuff, it's usually coated with something to keep the shreds from not touching each other, and that doesn't help. It is about, like, the melt, you know, like the temperature it melts at, the percentage of fat that's in the cheese. But I do know this. I do know that I prefer, and I can taste it, the pizza places that get a large block of mozzarella and shave it themselves, like, versus the people who are getting bags of like pre-shredded cheese. I think that makes a massive difference. And it does in my own home too, right? Like if I shred off the block, it's always going to be 10 times better than if I have the other one. Boy, oh boy, let me tell you something. I love when the cheese gets just a little brown and like, you know, kind of burnt on the sides. Like I like the sides of my pizza to be really crispy and crunchy. Like that's what I want out of it. I like, one of the reasons I like the deep dishes, you know how sometimes like the little grease goes up the side and it like hardens and becomes, it looks like a little fortress, like a little picket fence of deliciousness that forms around it. I also love the look of pizza pans. You know, like at like Pizza Hut, how they'd stack all the pizza pans, and they must be so seasoned and so flavorful. Mm-hmm. Are you hungry for pizza now?
Oh, I am, and I just had a thought, and now it just left my mind, and I'm trying to recapture it. But I'll
grab it.
This conversation is making me miss some of the pizzas of my youth that I can't get anymore, like Giovanni's Pizza. Or
Giovanni's
Moose Brothers. Like we don't have it in town here. My understanding is you can get it somewhere, but I don't even know if it, like if I get it, is it going to even taste the same anymore? That had a very specific flavor profile to it. You know, sometimes these kind of pizzas, you just have to eat them while you can, because they're going to be gone soon.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up on Tombstone pizzas and Domino's Pizza. And like I love Brewpub. Brewpub makes a lots of matzah, so it's like a double cheese pizza. Those things are my jam. But here's the thing, it's cheaper for me to order a pizza from Domino's than it is to buy a frozen pizza. Like a frozen pizza can be $11.99, and I can get a Domino's pizza for $6.
The nice thing too is a delivery pizza usually, since it was made fresh-ish, is that you can split it up over 2 meals really easily.
Yeah, easily.
Right. So you can buy a pizza for, you know, $30 and then split it up into 2 meals, and so you've got two $15 meals. Hold on.
What pizza are you buying for $30?
I'm just throwing out a number. I'm just, you know, buying something on Uber Eats or whatever, right?
Okay, Rockefeller, $30 for a pizza? Are you insane?
Well, oftentimes I like to go nuts on the toppings, so I'll do the extras. Like I'll double the cheese, I'll double or triple the pepperoni. If they offer multiple kinds of pepperoni, I'll do that. But also I'll buy something really big that I'm going to eat over a couple meals, right? So what I'm saying is buying a bigger pizza that I can then eat twice or 3 times.
I paid $40 for the pizza I bought last night, but it fed 6 people and we still had half of it left because each piece weighed like 3 pounds. Wow. Okay, well, listen, I need to go and I need to find this judge on Instagram and follow him immediately, and I'm going to go eat some cold pizza. As always, Tucker, it's a pleasure to talk to you, and I'll be back in Fargo soon because I know you miss me. I love you.
I'm going to call the police in Florida.
I love you.
I'm calling the police right now.
I love you.
Oh, all right. I love you too.
That's going to wrap it up for today's show. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help us continue to produce new episodes each week, visit jjmeetsworld.com, where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some swag at the merch shop, or follow our link to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all the sites the cool kids are using these days. JJ Meets World is produced every week by Tucker Lucas. You can find out more about Tucker's work by visiting moonbasemaria.com. If you want to get in touch with your host with the most, check out linebenders.com, where you can find direct contact info for JJ or booking information. And we didn't even talk about calzones.